got a few books I would like to share with you today. The first one is called The Bad Seed. The second one is called Flexible Thinking Ninja. The third one is Pete the Cat and the Missing Cupcakes. And the fourth one is The Dinosaur Who Discovered Hamburgers. So we've got hamburgers, cupcakes. We've got cats. We've got dinosaurs. We've got ninjas. And we've got sunflower seeds. Quite a menu. And as usual, you can find links to each of these books in the description. These books also all happen to be part of series. So if you do enjoy them, you'll have more to share, more to read, more to share with your children than just the single books. The Bad Seed is a book by Jory John and illustrated by Pete Oswald. The illustrations that Pete has done are simple, engaging, a unique style, very expressive, particularly with, so these seeds are drawn with very expressive faces. You can read the expressions on their face, and I think that that really stands out in contrast to sort of the, at first glance, simple style that he uses. I think it'll be engaging for children because of that, right? Very in tune to faces and how subtle expressions having significance. The language is not a rhyming book, but it does have, as I've mentioned on some other books in the past, these refrains of phrases that will be engaging to children, and sort of give you as a parent kind of a rhythm, if you're reading it to your children, a rhythm to keep them engaged, because it's a part of the in this particular book, Jory and Pete have brought together an image refrain as well as a written refrain about the main character, and it's a fun phrase to say, and so your kids will probably enjoy joining in, reading that page with you, even if they're not quite at that level where they can read yet. They'll see the picture and know what the phrase is and that kind of thing. So, yeah. In terms of the themes, I think this story taps into an area of importance that this phrase, "the bad seed," is both a pun and it's a colloquialism. And getting labeled the bad seed, and then sort of struggling to decide whether you want to be a bad seed, and deciding how and if you want to change that, and I think it ends in a good place. Well, the journey of struggle and suffering with some hope at the end, an imperfect hope, but that's the kind of hope that we kind of have for us, and that I think it's reasonable and healthy to teach children that you can hope to be you are not a binarily evaluated being, not all good, not all bad. And I think that is empowering, gives kids agency to change, despite what labels may be attached to them. The book does it better in words and images than I do with my own words. Flexible Thinking Ninja is by Mary Nhin and illustrated by Jelena Stupar or Jelena Stupar. One of the things that I liked about this book is that it does address a challenge that is felt by and experienced by both parents and children, which is inflexible thinking. And so the simple, straightforward language that Mary Nhin uses, as well as the clear structure with 3 significant parts. They all start with T. And then, how those sections get laid out is repeated. This creates or she has created a very useful experience to draw yourself and your child through and sort of practice and then jump off from in terms of developing flexible thinking. So like, you can, if your child is being inflexible in their thinking, you can remind them of, or even get the book out and walk them through the 3 T's and talk through ways of being flexible. And one of the themes is about that there's more than one solution to problems, and that more than one solution to problems means there's more than one way to do things, which you I'm sure encounter that in with your children, and I bet even yourself. And so value to this, it gives you an approach to use with your children that's clear, that you can remember the 3 T's, and then that they will be able to remember and return to as well. You can kind of give it to them, give them the tool again, and since it's connected with these images and with these ninja characters, that's I think that makes it more accessible and more playful, more memorable as well. And hopefully, this leads to a flexible, training your children to be more flexible in their thinking is going to generate resilience later on in life when they're encountering and confronting challenges that have more than one solution, and of course, that means that there's more than one way for it to go wrong as well, and being able to sort through and discover those many solutions, and then pick one to find their own way through. I think this book can help you to help them end up in that position of resilience and strength. Pete the Cat and the Missing Cupcakes is by Kimberly and James Dean, and it is illustrated by James Dean. The illustrations are playful, slightly caricatures of animals, so that is always engaging. And plenty of bold colors, but they do have they have depth to them, and a style that is that that holds your attention, and the themes of the story are important ones, along with just the fun of a mystery told with rhyme overall. Or I'm sorry, there's rhyme throughout in the language, which is nice, which is fun. And then also, as I talked about already today, there's a form of a refrain, so that when more cupcakes disappear, then there's a little refrain that gets played out, so kids can join in at that time. I think also in terms of the language and engagement through the language, they kind of go through investigating each of their friends, and it's different animals, and those animals, what they say, their alibi is kind of called out in size and font and color, and it also rhymes. So those will be fun over time, the rereading of this story for your kids to read out loud, maybe make up some voices for the different animals, and reinforce, along with the other rhyming, the refrain, reinforce some of the language learning that they can do through this story. I'll get back now to the theme. I think there's a theme of reconciliation in friendship, sort of one of the many meanings of friendship or purpose of friendship, or perhaps the possibility that friendship creates for reconciliation after mistakes, errors have been made. That in the context of friendship, reconciliation is possible, and actions can be taken to make amends and to restore kind of right relationship with each other. So I enjoyed that theme, and I think that's an important one for people to learn, don't you? The Dinosaur Who Discovered Hamburgers is a book by Adisan Books. The illustrations are great. They are captivating and engaging, and there are a lot of them. And there's just a plethora of dinosaurs, each they're cartoonish, and appropriately so. Likable, cute, and they're in all of these different environments, many of which connect with our modern environments, right? They're in restaurants and things like that. And then additionally, as this journey that the main character goes on, Scout finds these different locations along the way and experiences those. So there's a lot of drawings, there's a lot of illustrations, I should say, and a lot of variation and detail that you can dig into. And so, you can kind of get lost in that if your child is, lost in that in a good way. If your child likes to engage with the pictures, you can tell little stories about, the dinosaurs who are at the restaurants, what they might be saying, what their voices might sound like, things like that. And then I kind of like one of the themes that I was getting out of this, and it might be me projecting onto this book, but this idea that trying new foods is an adventure. I think we can put that on this book and not be going too far out of bounds. And I think that's a valuable thing for children to learn, that it can be fun even if it doesn't end up tasting right. or even if it doesn't end up being something that you like, there's an adventure, a journey that it is something you get to do as a part of life. I also, it sort of connects with this idea. I think I think is a good one of approaching. Food is such an important part of our survival. We've developed all these rituals around it. It's so deeply embedded with our culture. It's one of the first things that right? It's one of the first things that you need when you're in a new place, and it's something that is going to be different when you visit a new place and enter into a new culture and experience it. So there's this idea that exploration of the world, understanding your world better, can be done, as so many adults know, through food and coming together with other human beings around their food, sharing in their food, and the traditions around it and the culture that's been built around it. So that's me putting a whole lot onto this book that doesn't need to be there, because it is a fun, playful journey through, with, as I said, plenty of detail, and plenty of little funny moments and images as well as in the writing. There was one moment that stood out to me: the backpack rucksack that Scout filled with all of the necessary tools for the journey, among which were plates and utensils. Along with binoculars and other things. So that was, just that there's some attention to detail that is fun and brings a little extra flavor to this food-oriented adventure. And of course, there's dinosaurs in it. Thank you for letting me share these books with you, and I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope you'll support these authors and artists and check out their books. Again, you can click on their links in the description below, and I've also included my own if you want to learn more about Inspector Badger. But yeah, thank you.